Hey there, welcome back to my kitchen. Today I wanted to share some recipes that are perfect for some cookouts or get-togethers, especially this time of year. If you are in the States, then you know Memorial Day is coming up, as well as July 4th, and then of course you just like to cook out all summer long. So I hope you enjoyed today's recipes and get some good ideas and inspiration out of them, but let's go ahead and get started and I will show you what I made. First up today, we are going to make these deviled strawberries. These are a perfect light summer dessert and they are very easy to make. As you can see, I have cut the center out of these 2 strawberries, and I do have 2 packages of strawberries here, but I am just choosing the 12 largest out of here to make this recipe today. So first you'll just want to cut off the top of the strawberry and then figure out which side of the strawberry will sit the flattest. Then I go in at a V angle to cut out the center of the strawberry, and you can either save these or eat them or do whatever you want with them. And then I go back through with my knife to just trim out the rest of the white center of the strawberry. In the end, your strawberry should look like this and have room for some filling. I'm going to go ahead and do this to 12 strawberries. However, with the amount of filling I made, you could probably end up making about 24 to 30 of these deviled strawberries. Once your strawberries are prepared, go ahead and just set those aside for right now. Next, into this bowl, I am adding in a half cup of heavy whipping cream. I'm just going to take my hand mixer and we're just going to mix this up until it turns into whipped cream. This will take a few minutes, so just keep mixing until it gets to this texture here. Just set that bowl aside for right now. We're actually going to grab another bowl, and into this bowl I'm going to add in 3 tablespoons of sour cream. You will also need a half block of softened cream cheese. I actually made a mistake here though and added the entire block in, so that's why I do remove half. Next, add in 1/3 cup of sugar and a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now I'm just going to take my hand mixer again and get this all combined. Make sure that cream cheese is nice and smooth in there. Now you'll just grab that whipped cream that we made and you'll go ahead and add that right into the bowl, but do not use your hand mixer for this part. Just take a spoon or a spatula, whatever you have, and fold this in. Once that is mixed well, you can go ahead and add this into a piping bag, or if you don't have piping bags, you can go ahead and just use a Ziploc bag and just cut the corner off of that. If you do have piping bags and you have some tips to go on the end of those, you can choose whichever design you want. It will add just a little bit of extra flair to your strawberries when they're all done. But go ahead and fill up your piping bag or your Ziploc bag and get all the air out of the tip, and then set that aside for just a second. Since the strawberries have been sitting for a moment, we're going to go ahead and take a paper towel and just dab the insides of the strawberries. This will help remove any extra liquid in there, that way the filling doesn't slide right out. Now at this point you should be ready to fill, so go ahead and just start at the bottom and work your way up to the top. It really doesn't take too much of this filling. And like I said, I only made 12 today, but I really had enough filling to make 24 to 30 of these, which I actually ended up doing later that night because me and my husband just devoured these. As you can see, I still have a ton of filling there. And now, taking just a little bit of graham cracker, I'm going to crumble that right over the top and give it a nice finishing touch. Here's what they look like when they are all done. I just think these are so simple and so beautiful and perfect for the summertime. If you are going to make these for a cookout or something, I would definitely keep them in the refrigerator as long as possible, and definitely don't put them in direct sunlight because that filling will melt right out of them and it'll be a huge mess. But if you can have these indoors or just keep them cooled as long as you can, they are so good and just perfect for this time of year. Of course, up next we have to make a pasta salad, so we're going to go ahead and make this bacon broccoli pasta salad. To begin, I just took about 10 ounces of rotini pasta that I had already cooked and added it into a bowl. Then you'll add in a half cup of chopped broccoli, a fourth of a red onion that I did chop up pretty fine, 3 to 4 slices of bacon chopped, a fourth a cup of red wine vinegar, 1 cup of mayonnaise, a fourth cup of sugar, about a teaspoon of salt and a half teaspoon of pepper, but honestly you can just add salt and pepper to taste however you want it. And then now I'm just going to go ahead and give this a really good mix together. My noodles were still pretty warm at this point, so I covered this and put this in my refrigerator and let this sit for about an hour to an hour and a half. We kept our meal pretty simple on this night and just had some hot dogs alongside this pasta salad. This is definitely one of my favorite pasta salads. I love pasta salad anyways, but this one is just really good. It has a nice little tang to it because of that red wine vinegar, but also I'm a broccoli addict. I love it so much, and altogether this turned out fantastic. I feel like a staple to cookouts and get-togethers has to be baked beans, so today we're going to go ahead and make an easy baked bean recipe in the Crockpot. To begin, I'm just using my small 2-quart Crockpot and adding in 1 large can of baked beans. Next, add in about 3 slices of cooked and chopped bacon, a fourth a cup of chopped yellow onion, 1 to 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce, about a fourth a cup of ketchup, and a fourth a cup of barbecue sauce. I believe I was using a honey barbecue here. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of honey, 1 teaspoon of yellow mustard, and then just a couple shakes of garlic powder, and then you can give this a really good mix together. If you didn't notice, these are definitely going to be sweet baked beans, but that's how we love them. So if you don't want to be quite as sweet, you can add other things like more ketchup, more mustard, less of the brown sugar. You can use a different type of barbecue sauce. It's all up to you. I let these cook on a low heat for about 3 hours, and this is what they looked like at that point. If you want to, after about 3 hours, you can go ahead and turn this on a warm setting and just keep it warm. It may take longer to cook if you double this recipe though. This amount was perfect for me and my husband. We had leftovers, but it was not for a crowd, so if you are making this for more than 2 to 3 people, I would definitely double this recipe. On this day, I did just serve it with this potato, pepper, and sausage skillet I made. I just shared that a couple videos back, so I will link that below for you if you're interested. And last but not least, we are making this Patriotic fruit pizza. With Memorial Day coming up and the 4th of July, this fruit pizza is the perfect addition to your upcoming cookout. You will need to preheat your oven to 375 degrees. To begin, we're going to go ahead and get started on the crust. So into my large mixing bowl, I'm adding in 3/4 a cup of sugar, 1 stick of room temperature butter, and then I'm just going to go ahead and pause here and cream this together. Next, go ahead and add in 1 egg and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then you will go ahead and just give this another mix together until those are combined. And now you can go ahead and add in 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a half teaspoon of baking powder, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Once you can tell this is all mixed together, go ahead and stop the mixer. You don't want to over mix this. You'll just go ahead and remove this from your mixing bowl and add it to the tray that you're going to be cooking it on. I do like to line mine with some parchment paper, that way I can pick the pizza right up off of the baking sheet. And now you're just going to go ahead and flatten this out into about 1/4 of an inch thick pizza crust. This will go into your oven to bake for about 10 to 12 minutes until you can see that the top of it is starting to get golden. Once it is cooked, go ahead and just set it aside for a while. You're going to need to let it cool all the way down. Once your crust has cooled, you can go ahead and get started on your icing. Into a nice big bowl, I'm going to go ahead and add 1 room temperature block of cream cheese, 2/3 cup of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm then going to use my hand mixer, get that all mixed together until the cream cheese is nice and smooth. Now I have 1 container of Cool Whip here. You'll need to make sure that your Cool Whip is not frozen, so let it sit out for a little bit and get soft. I'm going to add half of that container in here and then use my hand mixer to mix that all together. Now for the other half of the Cool Whip, you will just go ahead and add that into your bowl, but this time, instead of using your hand mixer, you're actually just going to fold it in. Once that is all mixed together, go ahead and add it onto your cold cookie crust. You will not need all of your icing at this point, just make sure you add enough on here so your berries can stick. We're going to save some of that icing to use for the white stripes. Try to spread this as even as you can over top the entire crust. You will want to make sure you get it all the way to the edges, that way you can stick fruit all over the crust. Now, like I said, I am making a patriotic fruit pizza because it's that time of year, you know, with Memorial Day and the 4th of July. However, if you don't live in the United States or you don't want to make a patriotic pizza, you can put any type of fruit on here with any type of design. Right now, I am just making 1 corner of this that is going to be completely filled with blueberries, and then I'm also making a blueberry trim around the entire crust. Then I took some strawberries and I cut those into smaller slices, that way I could create the stripes. This pizza is not going to be completely accurate, there's only 13 stripes on the American flag, but that's okay, it still looked really good and tasted great. So now I'm going to go ahead and take that icing we made and put it into a little piping bag. You can add any type of tip onto the piping bag, and if you don't have a piping bag, then use a Ziploc bag. That'll work just fine as well. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in the gaps between the strawberries to create the white stripes. This will also really help to keep these strawberries in place. I did have a little extra icing, so I put a white star on top of my blueberries there in the corner. This is what it looked like after I went ahead and sliced it into little squares. I'm gonna go ahead and link down below my other fruit pizza that I make. I love to make this fruit pizza, it's a big hit with my family. But this one is made with my grandma's fruit dip and it is absolutely delicious, so I'll link that below for you. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. I sure did making these recipes. They were all fantastic. Don't forget to leave me a flower down in the comments below if you made it all the way to the end of today's video, and I will see you back here next time.